Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Gemini. If Gemini is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the Six of Cups, which has everything to do with pleasure. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And also, if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. I love hearing from you all. And if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments. So it looks like it says Bob, B-O-B, Bob. Okay, B-O-B. Or it could be 808, right? If you make electronic music or a musician, maybe it's 808. Okay. So, I almost feel like this is like a friendship or a relationship that I feel like goes back and forth a lot. Like this is somebody you love, you maybe have been with on and off, you have been good friends with on and off for many years, okay? I feel like where you began is much different than where you're at now. Your life has changed a lot. You've changed a lot. You've evolved as a being. You've grown up, right? You've had different iterations of your life. And same with this other person, okay? I do feel like you've gone way different directions, okay? Now I see a person here, okay, and we have the sun at the shoulder. Now we have another person here holding a wand. Now we also have, it looks like a goose, okay? We also have Saturn right beneath, okay? So what does this kind of look like? What does this mean? Now we have somebody who is very much under the influence of the solar energy. Okay, so this is, maybe somebody who is a little more extroverted, somebody who kind of maybe dwells in the material a little bit more. They are very focused on their life in the physical world, right? Making money, reaching these kind of, goals in their life, the house, the kids, the family, or, wife, husband, partner, kids and dog and cat and, whatever. The nice car. And I think maybe it's not exactly that, but they are somebody who is concerned, with these kind of tangible, goals or products of their goals. And so then we have this other person over here who is holding the wand, and the wand is that fire element, right? It is passion, creation, the ability to manifest and so on. So I feel that there's also, maybe this very kind of creative, dynamic, or creative person within the dynamic, and somebody who's maybe not as tied to the earthly things. You know, maybe, well, truly like an artist, right? Or somebody who, you know, a writer, a poet, a mystic, a philosopher, or whatever, right? Now, we also have the Saturn, which kind of, you know, seems like it would be at odds with the fires. But the thing about the Saturn energy being very present with somebody is, yeah, maybe that they do have kind of lower moods, okay? They maybe are a person who can be quite passionate, but also kind of almost like unreachable, right? They live in their icy tower on the tundra at times, right? And now maybe if you go into their tower, into their castle, it is bright and full of life and energetic, but they keep themselves kind of sequestered from the rest of the world, okay? Now we have the goose over here. So kind of really a sign of abundance, you know, somebody who is good at kind of finding those places of great luck, of fortune, of, you know, of plenty. And so, you know, I think that these maybe on the surface seem like two people who are completely different. But there's commonality, of course, and there is history. And so, you know, I feel like in this situation, there is a great deal of love. There's a great deal of devotion. And there is a certain amount of compromise, of having to remain open-minded. And I'm trying to understand, why does this person live the way that they do? I don't get it. Like, you know, maybe you're the person that's in the material, you know, and you look at your friend and you think, my goodness, like, you're just super lost in all of this, like, you know, whatever they're into, the magic, the occult, the maybe they're very devout within their religion or whatever. And, you know, they're kind of a bit of a like recluse, or, you know, at least kind of more solitary, and you don't get it. It's like, hey, let's go have some fun. Let's, you know, let's stop being so serious all the time. Let's, you know, go do some frivolous things, some exciting and interesting things. And yeah, you know, you kind of pull them out of themselves a little bit. Now, it might be the flip, right? Where you are, and this is the thing about Gemini, is you could be both, actually. You could be all of them. But, you know, you might be in that era of your life where you're just kind of doing your own thing. You don't really go out as much. You don't hang out with the friends. You don't necessarily check in all that much either. You're doing your stuff. You're focused on your interior world and your domestic life and the goals that you have. And, you know, the energy is not there for you, right? You're not really in that party, excitable, let's have a friend's weekend, you know, but having people like that, having a person like that in your life, it does sometimes kind of, you know, pull you out of out of yourself, out of the place that you kind of have sequestered yourself. And, you know, and so I feel like this is something that is important. It's an important relationship. And I think that, you know, it seems like it is highlighted here, in my opinion anyways. It feels like it's a reminder that even when, you know, something happens where you think, what the heck, you know, why do they put me on the spot? Or why is it always so hard to get them to kind of want to hang out? Or, you start to have these like thoughts that are like, are we really as important to one another as we used to be? Like, is this still like a viable friendship? And this is a confirmation that, yeah, you're always going to be friends. You're very much tied together. There's this soul bond here. And, you're a Gemini, so you understand kind of existing in different archetypes or personas or different levels of energy and what you're into. And because you have very distinct chapters of your life. You're not afraid to be many different things. And so, it might just be that in this moment, you're not as aligned as you maybe once were. But I do think that, it is something that is worth continuing to put time and energy into. Continuing to send the text, continuing to call, continuing to, force yourself out once in a while. Or if they say no and they say no, you keep asking, not to the level of being pushy, but yeah, you're still going to invite them. There's like a what, 60-40 chance. Oh wait, yeah, 60-40. I was like, wait, is it 40? Let me do my math here. 60-40 chance that they're going to show up, right? So, yeah, I think that this is something that it's kind of, it's a reminder. Yeah, this is your person. This is one of your great people of your life. Do not be dissuaded by, when things kind of, they just don't line up. You're just not on the same wavelength right now. And that's okay. That happens. Okay, let's take a look here. Let's keep going. Now, we have, it looks like, we already talked about that, Bob. The name Bob. I always think of, I have a lot of Bobs in my life. There's a lot of men named Bob of the older, of my like parent and grandparent generation. But I always think of, despite that, I'm always like, oh yeah, oh gosh, what is that show called? Twin Peaks. I think of Twin Peaks. So, let's see. It looks like we have H and we have an E. So he, and I know it's backwards, but I'm reading it as an E, not H3, but H-E, he, and then we have a dragon. Okay, we have a big dragon right here. Here's the head and the body and the tail. I feel like it's like down here, I know it doesn't look like it says, but it looks like O-E-D, but I'm looking at it as O-D-E, ode. I feel like this is maybe, now we're in the year of the dragon, so I'm not surprised to see dragons in the readings, but I also feel like this is maybe somebody who was born in the year of the dragon, which is varied. I don't know what those dates are. I don't even know what the dates of, what am I, an ox? I'm an ox, so I don't even know what years go along with mine, except for my own birthday year, right? My own birth year. But yes, the dragon. And it seems like it's probably a masculine person. And it feels to me, it feels so beloved. This feels, This is like maybe your first love. This is maybe that person you never get over, right? You just, whatever it is, it was an unrealized love, if it was like perfected love because you were young and naive and, without a lot of responsibilities. Maybe this was, your spouse for 50 years and they have transitioned. I don't know, but it feels powerful. And when I see it, it made me feel like the breath is knocked out of you. It's like it's hard to think about them without feeling a full body reaction. There is a wanting, a love, a desire, a calling even, it just, it feels like there's just such there's nothing else, when you are thinking about them, when you feel close to them, when they come to you in your dreams, when maybe it is, maybe they're still out there, they're married, they have kids, they have a family, whatever. You look them up and you think, oh my gosh, you're just like pulled right back into it. But I'm seeing that we have a person here. So there's somebody standing here, and it looks like they are reaching right into the core of this other person. And we also have a skull right here. You can see the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the kind of head up there. So I feel like it's like this lifetime, you wanted it to work out so bad. Like this would be the one. This would be it. But I think it's like it happened how it was supposed to. And the love wouldn't be the same if it had been realized in the way that you wish it were. Like it was forever and eternal and you were always together and, you could just lose yourself to this person completely and you'd become like one being, these like just overwhelming emanations of love. And it was there and it is there. But for whatever reason, there needed to be this life, this rest of time, this period where you've had to kind of live your life as yourself, to be alone in a way. Now maybe it is like was your first love. It didn't work out. You moved to a different town. You never talked again. You still think about them like 50, 60, 70 years later. But you've been married. You have kids. Maybe you're married in this moment. But it was supposed to be that way, and even in all that you have, there's still that loneliness, right? Or it's not even a loneliness. Maybe it is. It's autonomy. There can be moments of loneliness, but it was important for you to continue to have that outside of this like all-encompassing love that you had, because you are evolving as a being. You are on a path that it is about love, but it's not about a love that is so obsessive or so potent that you can't see beyond it, right? And that, it can be hard. It can be hard to accept that. Or maybe you accept it, but you still lament it, right? And that seems normal. But I think that there's this place in your heart for this person, and sometimes, it just comes on so strong. And oddly, because it can be such a painful thing, I feel like it is kind of a pleasure for you to allow yourself to dwell in that love, in that want, even if they're not right there with you. When you let your mind wander, when you think about, you lay down for bed in the evening, and you put away your phone or your book or whatever, and you turn off the lights, and you begin to close your eyes, and you allow yourself to go wandering, right? You start thinking about parts of your memories of how it felt to be around this person, the sensations that you were having, the impressions that you retained from that time. And you kind of go, just swimming in this feeling. And that is a pleasure. That is like a little vacation for the heart, and that's not to say, that's not to say that you don't love your life how it is, or the people in your life, your significant other, the family that you've had, whatever, right? But there's this special place that you keep for them. And I think that for whatever reason, it could be that there's an anniversary, a birthday, or something. It's just this feeling. It's like reaching into your guts, right? It's just so potent right now. And I find you kind of drifting into it quite often. Like in your quiet moments, you are there. You are just, kind of in a daze. And so, this all being said, this is a good time for you to do something to honor this love. Again, even if this is like something that rationally you're like, okay, I dated this person when I was like, 15 to 18 years old, and I was a kid. And yet you still retain those feelings, those impressions, those emanations. They're powerful. They're as strong as they were when you were a kid, It might be, like I said, this person you spent your life with, and they have transitioned, and you love for them, you want for them, you constantly are thinking about them. Now, it's all relative. It doesn't matter. Either of these situations or somewhere in between, or something completely different. It is love. There is love there. Okay. And so to honor that, if it seems like you have reason to or not, it's an act of tribute, of devotion. Not necessarily even just to the person, but to the experience. To the experience and the profound ability to have a love of this kind. Okay, so I think, and I'm a sucker for ritual. I'm a sucker for altars and keeping and keeping remembrances and things. So a good time to make some kind of, special honoring. If you make some kind of object, or put up a picture, or have a special dinner for them. Maybe they're not there, but in commemorance, or have an altar, or whatever it is. Right? I've been pushing the idea of everybody getting into making sigils. Maybe you make a sigil to, as to be a beacon of light and energy, in this love work that you have done, right? And if you don't know what a sigil is, go look it up. It's S-I-G-I-L. That is how you spell it. If you look it up and you're trying to figure out how to create a sigil, it's a symbol, right? That kind of has your intentions woven into it. And if you want some kind of idea of how to do this, there's a lot of different resources on the internet, but in particular there's a video of a guy giving a little lecture that is one of my faves. His name is Grant Morrison. He is first of all a chaot, right? A chaos magician, but also an artist and an author, a graphic novelist, and so on. So he had this years ago. I mean, now it feels fresh to me, but this is maybe like 25 years ago now. At the Misinformation Con, he did a lecture on sigil making, and you can easily find that online. So if you look up Grant Morrison and sigils, you will find it. But yeah, definitely very easy, very basic explanation of how that is done. I love the idea of everybody getting into sigil making. That is the chaot in myself and my little heart here. But yes, so maybe doing something like that, making some kind of visual representation of the love. Okay, now we're going to take a look over here. We have the number 72. 72. Also 18. 72 and 18. Okay. Now we have a person standing here. You can see the head right here, the body, the legs, holding a flower. Okay. So yeah, kind of in a romantic place, right? We also have an angel up here. And I feel like it's like Cupid and cherubim cherubs. I always mix those up, cherubs. And flowers and roses and puppies and rainbows, and there's just a belovedness. I feel like it is. There is just so much love in your heart right now. I know, cheesy, right? But I feel like you're just in one of these very kind of loving, giving, connecting, romantic kind of places in your life. And everything seems a little bit brighter. Everything seems like it feels a little bit better. And so, yeah, I think this is a wonderful little time for you. This little period of summer, of winter, if you're in the southern hemisphere, it really does. It feels like you'll look back on this part of the year and think, yeah, I had a good time. I was feeling pretty good then. So yes, definitely not something to kind of be sad about. These are symbols that I would like to have in my own life too. Just feeling, connected and honoring our relationships, honoring our love, and allowing ourselves to feel what we feel, if it makes sense or not, it doesn't matter. So, let's go ahead. We're going to do our self-care affirmation cards. I'm going to flip through and stop where it feels right. It says, contemplative stream. I am self-aware. I take time to sit by the contemplative stream to notice how I am feeling. I respond to my needs with compassionate awareness. I witness my internal landscape without judgment. Whew, that's hard. I witness my internal landscape without judgment. Yeah, that's not always easy, but most necessary for the work, right? As we get into the higher workings. So Gemini, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And, what else? Yeah, I think that's, oh no, if you want to leave a comment, yes, please do. And if you are new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments. All right. I'm going to tell you again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days, Gemini. Good night, good night, good night.